A condo is a housing unit that is connected to other units in the same building. You own your unit. Everyone in the building shares the common spaces, the hallways, gym, parking garage, and lobby. Condos are one of the most popular forms of housing in US cities. But how does one actually get built? It takes years of planning, millions of dollars, and dozens of professionals working in a strict order. Here is exactly how it happens, step by step. Everything starts with a real estate developer. The developer is the person or company that funds and organizes the whole project. The developer picks a location. They look at things like how many people want to live there, how close it is to jobs and transit, and what the local government allows to be built. Then they run a feasibility study. This study answers one question: will this project make money? It looks at construction costs, market demand, and financial projections. It also checks for environmental concerns and zoning rules. Zoning is the local government's rules about what can be built on a specific piece of land. If the feasibility study looks good, the developer buys the land. If there is an old building on it, that building gets demolished first. Once the land is secured, the developer hires an architect. The architect designs the building, how many floors it will have, where the units go, where the elevators and stairwells are, what the outside looks like, and where the shared spaces like the gym or rooftop are located. Engineers also get involved at this stage. Structural engineers make sure the building can hold its own weight. Mechanical engineers plan the heating, cooling, and ventilation systems. Electrical engineers design the power systems. Plumbing engineers plan the water supply and drainage. All of these people have to work together. What the architect draws has to be physically possible, safe, and affordable. This stage can take a long time, sometimes 1 to 2 years just for the design alone. Before one shovel hits the ground, the developer must get permission from the local government. This is called permitting. The developer submits the architectural plans, engineering documents, and sometimes environmental studies to the local building department. The government reviews everything to make sure it follows building codes. Building codes are the rules that set the minimum standards for safety, fire resistance, and structural strength. If the plans don't follow the rules, the developer has to revise them. If they do, the government issues a building permit. Starting construction without a permit can result in fines, forced demolition, and legal problems. Depending on the city and the size of the project, getting all permits approved can take months. Delays in permitting affect the entire project timeline. Here is something most people don't know. Most condos are sold before they are even built. Developers present the project to buyers using floor plans, renderings, and models. Buyers who commit early sign a purchase agreement and pay a deposit, usually between 20% and 30% of the unit's price. About 80% of condos built for sale are sold before construction begins. This is not just a business strategy, it is often required. Banks that lend money to developers want to see proof that buyers are interested before they approve construction loans. This phase also protects buyers in some ways. They can sometimes request changes to the unit design before construction starts. Major changes may require the plans to go back through local council approval. Now, construction begins. The first job is preparing the site. Workers clear the land, set up fencing, and bring in heavy equipment. If the soil is contaminated, it has to be cleaned before building can start. Soil tests are run to determine the ground's strength and whether it needs treatment. Then excavation begins. Excavation means digging. Workers dig down into the earth to create the space for the foundation and underground parking. This process alone can take a full year on a large condo tower and represents roughly 1/3 of the total construction time. As the hole gets deeper, workers install temporary supports to keep the surrounding soil from collapsing. This is called shoring. The foundation is the base of the building. Everything sits on top of it. Workers pour the first concrete slab at the bottom of the excavation. This slab is the most critical pour in the whole project. It carries the load of the entire building above it. It is thicker and more complex than any other slab in the building. Reinforcing steel bars, called rebar, are placed inside the concrete before it is poured. The rebar gives the concrete its tensile strength, meaning it keeps the concrete from cracking under stress. Together, steel and concrete form what is called reinforced concrete. The number of underground slabs depends on how many basement levels or parking levels the building has. Once the foundation is solid, the structure rises up floor by floor. There are three main materials used to frame a condo building in the USA. Wood framing is used for low-rise condo buildings, typically 4 stories or fewer. It is less expensive but requires extra layers for fire safety and soundproofing. Steel framing is used in mid-rise and high-rise buildings. Steel is strong and consistent. It is lightweight compared to concrete and can be shaped precisely using modern 3D modeling. However, it requires added insulation and soundproofing layers. Concrete is the dominant choice for larger developments. Concrete can be poured in place at the site, called cast in place, or pre-made in a factory and shipped to the site, called precast. Concrete offers fire resistance, sound dampening, and strength. Buildings over 4 stories almost always use concrete. For a tall concrete tower, the structure climbs at roughly 1 floor per week. Workers build temporary molds called formwork, pour concrete into them, let it cure, and then remove the molds and move up to the next floor. Beams, columns, and floor slabs get built 1 level at a time. As the upper floors are being built, workers are simultaneously installing the internal systems in the lower floors. This is done floor by floor, from the bottom up. This includes plumbing, water supply pipes and drain lines for kitchens, bathrooms, and laundry rooms, electrical, wiring for outlets, lights, appliances, and building systems, HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, fire suppression, sprinkler systems, and fire alarm wiring. All of these systems must pass inspections at different stages of construction before they can be covered up with walls. Once the structure and internal systems are in place, the finishing work begins. On the outside, scaffolding goes up. Workers install exterior walls, insulation, and windows. Insulation is often sprayed or injected into the exterior envelope to improve energy efficiency and prevent air and moisture from getting in. Then the outer cladding goes on. This could be brick, glass, stone, stucco, or metal panels. This is what gives the building its final look. On the inside, drywall is hung and taped. Floors, cabinets, countertops, tiles, light fixtures, and paint go in. Buyers who purchased pre-construction may have had the chance to choose some of these finishes, flooring material, countertop color, or tile style, within the options the developer allows. Common areas like the lobby, hallways, fitness center, and parking garage are finished at the same time. Before anyone can move in, the building must pass final inspections. Inspectors from the local government check the structure, plumbing, electrical systems, fire safety, and other elements to make sure everything meets code. Any problems found must be fixed before the building can be approved. When everything passes, the government issues a certificate of occupancy. This is the legal document that says the building is safe to live in. Without it, no one can move in. When buyers move in, a homeowners association, called an HOA, is created. The HOA is the organization that manages the building's common areas and enforces the rules that all residents must follow. Before moving in, buyers agree to the HOA's rules, which are written in a legal document called the Declaration of Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions, or CC&AMP-RS. These rules cover everything from noise levels to what you can put on your balcony. Residents pay monthly HOA fees to cover the cost of maintaining shared spaces, building insurance, and reserves for future repairs. The average construction time for a condo building in the USA is 2 to 2.5 years, not counting the design and permitting phase, which can add another year or two before construction even starts. From the first idea to the day residents get their keys, a condo building can take anywhere from 4 to 6 years in total. Quick summary. Developer picks a location and runs a feasibility study. Architects and engineers design the building. Government permits are obtained. Units are pre-sold to fund construction. The site is cleared and excavated. The foundation is poured. The structure is built floor by floor using wood, steel, or concrete. Plumbing, electrical, and HVAC systems are installed. Exterior cladding and interior finishes are completed. Final inspections are passed and a certificate of occupancy is issued. The HOA is formed and residents move in. That is how a condo gets built in the USA. from an idea on paper to a place people call home.